Alright, hello everyone, and here today in my level Blockfish, I am going over some of my mechanics. Now, really I'm going over two of my mechanics because these two mechanics work together and are very unique to the level. They not only provide the player with information, but they also provide them a quickest route throughout the level that can help them traverse forward or backward through and can make a really good quality of life if done correctly or even first. So let's get started. We're gonna have to look at the missing person. This is the first aspect of the level that the player interacts with, and in this there is a actual sphere, a trigger zone that the player has to walk into for the text to pop up and activate using this character. Alright, so what I've done on this character thus far, immediately I pulled the actors of the bridge and the player because I needed a reference from both for this to actually work. So to show the interaction, I made sure that the zone is overlapping with the player, so it shows the text is hidden or not hidden anymore. And whenever they leave that zone, it's now hidden. You won't see the text over the pawn here or the character. So upon activating dialogue, we activate talk. During talk, we'll take the talk index, which is just a index from our dialogue array, plant it into our text here, which is our pretty much works as like a text string that allows the user, the creator, to come up with text, and that way they're able to use this text for this character. Now I made this text instance editable, so I can edit this on the go. So if I have multiple people in this level, I can have them say different things like, "Hey, I'm person number one," or "Hey, I'm person number two." But as long as we get the reference to make sure that it's the UI is valid, it won't create it twice. So that way, if that text is already on screen, it will not put up that text again. So we have to make sure that it is valid for us to put up the viewport of the widget that is created for this interaction. Now, this widget actually, if I come down to my thing, the black screen pop-up, this widget actually has the animation on it that just flashes the screen black. The original design had a camera that locked the player in place, so that way that when this flash happens, you'll see that the character is talking to this person at a angle. But this was a bit harder for me to actually get done. So I decided, the flash is still nice. It does take your attention away from the game. So I kept the flash and just removed the camera. Now, back in this character, there are a couple things that happen once we interact with this missing person. So on activating a dialogue, we'll talk to this person, but we'll be asking the bridge if we talked. We'll be setting that to true and then calling a dispatcher for something to happen in the bridge. Not only that, and the player will make sure that we indeed let the game know that, hey, we talked to you. You should upgrade or update the information stored in the game at the very end. And that's what this event dispatcher is going to do. So if we head on over to the bridge, on event begin play, there is going to be a box collision that is on the bridge. We're going to keep this at no collision, so that way when you it has collision on it before, like in the actual details panel. It'll be come over, look at the collision, overlap all dynamic. That's what we want. But at first, we're gonna take the collision and say, hey, you have no collision. All right. So therefore, it's like just gonna block all the collision in the world. You can't use the bridge until you talk to the actual missing person. So we binded this event to we talked, which is in the missing person, making sure that we did talk. That way, we set the collision on, so it gets into the overlapping collision, and that way we're able to use the bridge. How the bridge works, we'll make sure that we have this overlapping collision here on the bridge. It's a very thin layer, but if the player jumps up and taps it, upon the information gained from the missing person, the bridge will actually fix itself. And the way that it will fix itself is coming off of a timeline that takes a second to take the bridge from a broken state to a complete fixed state, setting that world location and making sure that the player understands that the bridge was fixed for later on in the game. Now, the final thing I'm going to show is actually in the player, because most of the heavy lifting is here. I'll make this fast. Basically, I have the interaction to where we can talk to the missing person by pressing E, and all the winnable events are set on a event dispatcher to tell the game, hey, this objective is completed, therefore it is over. They have succeeded. Thank you for watching this video, and have a good one.